Hey folks, Prof JP here from Future Minds Lab at the University of New South Wales in sunny Sydney, Australia. Who am I? Well, I'm a professor of cognitive neuroscience, which means neuroscience plus psychology, but I do lots of things. I try and write books now, I try and talk to you guys on the internet, and do a bunch of other things. So right here behind my shoulder, you'll see good old Jerry, the last PhD student, the last graduate student that graduated from the lab. He didn't do that well, no. He's here to keep us company. So today we're reacting, and I want to see what this Google NotebookLM thing's all about. You may have heard of it, you may not. I've been hearing a lot of buzz about this. What it seems to do is you can upload a PDF of anything, the most boring, dry thing, and in this case, we're going to upload some of the lab's papers, some of my papers. Yes, they are a bit dry, they're a bit nerdy. And supposedly it pops out the other end, this interesting, captivating podcast, a conversation between two different people. So we're going to try that out today. We're going to listen to this fresh, see how good this Google product is, see if Google can scramble its way back into the AI war, if you like. And by the way, this is not sponsored in any way by Google. So yeah, my opinions are purely my own. So we're going to start off with a paper about intuition. This is a paper from 2016 where we first showed the world how we could measure intuition reliably, objectively in the lab. And like I said, it's written for scientists, so the actual PDF is a little dry, a little boring. So let's see what Google Magic can do with this. So here we go. We're going to upload it like this.
A few moments later.
Let's see how good it is.
Okay, so you want to dive into whether we can actually measure intuition. You sent over this wild 2016 study from Psychological Science.
Wild? I like it. Sounds good. Happy to be described that way.
Apparently, scientists found a way to measure something that, I don't know, feels kind of impossible, like trying to measure a ghost.
It's crazy, right?
A ghost. Again, nicely done. We don't mention that in the paper at all. It has come up with that by itself. And it sounds like we're getting a female voice in here.
Right? Like, we've talked about intuition forever, but there's never been much hard science to back it up. But this research, they really went for it.
No kidding. So how do you even start to measure something as slippery as intuition? Like, did they hook people up to an intuition meter or something?
Not quite. They used this really cool experiment. Imagine a screen with all these dots moving around, and your job is to figure out, like, the general direction they're going.
Okay, sounds easy enough. So
right. But here's the thing.
Ooh. A little bit of a glitch there, but keep in mind, all I've done is throw a PDF of the raw paper into this thing. I haven't told it anything, I haven't asked for anything. It's built a whole sort of back and forward conversation and podcast just off the back of this thing. This is pretty cool.
While people are trying to figure out the dots, they flash these emotional images on the screen, totally separate from the dots. We're talking cute puppies, maybe a picture of a snake, that sort of thing.
all right. So where does the measuring intuition part come in?
Oh, I'm getting to that. So they flash these images, BUT. They use this technique. It's called continuous flash suppression, CFS for short. And
She's got that right.
it basically makes the images invisible.
Whoa, wait, invisible images. Hold up, are we talking subliminal messaging here?
It's not subliminal messaging exactly, but they are kind of messing with how the brain processes what you see, you know? So with CFS, they basically overwhelm one of your eyes with these super bright, fast-changing shape.
This is pretty good though, right? This is interesting. This is, as they say, the worst it's ever going to be. So this is going to change how scientists work. This is going to change, right? People are going to be uploading boring stuff. If I want to read a paper in the car, it's pretty tough getting a voice to read it, a narrative voice to read it out to me in the car. But a conversation is so much more interesting to listen to.
Even though people couldn't actually see the images, their brains were still processing them on some level, right?
Subconsciously, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're doing a good job on this. This is really interesting. How about we try a different one? A paper we did on how to measure aphantasia. This is the one where we measure the pupil response. Again, purely scientific, purely dry paper. Let's see what Google NotebookLM can do with it.
Picturing something so clearly, it's like you're actually there.
Happens to me all the time.
Well, get this. Today, we're diving deep into that very thing, the mind's eye. Okay, so we're really talking about the pupils of our eyes here, not like some metaphorical mind's eye pupil, right?
Oh, no, the real deal.
Which already has me totally hooked.
Yeah, for a long time, mental imagery was seen as like
I love this already. Like there's a lot going on behind the scenes here, but it's taking dry material. It's pulling numbers and stats and things out of this paper and it's turning into an easily digestible conversation. This is going to be a game changer. This is, once you can add your own voice in, you can tweak the emotionality, you can tweak the humor up. This is going to be a big deal.
Too wishy-washy to study, scientifically. But this research, it's offering a whole new way to look at it. They're using this thing called the pupillary light response. Basically how our pupils shrink in bright light and expand in the dark.
Right, like a reflex. We all know that.
Yeah.
But how does that connect to our imagination? I mean, it's not like...
I won't bore you guys too much with this, but this is a big deal, right? I'm fascinated by this. And there's just something so different about hearing a conversation. Like, I've been wanting to turn monologue lectures at universities into dialogues, right? We've seen the crazy takeoff of podcasts in the last 10 years or last 15 years. And there's just something so emotionally engaging by hearing two natural voices go back and forward about a topic, right? There's more bandwidth when you hear about it. Well, the tone of voice, the sarcasm, there's so much more in that than just reading a paper or having someone read the paper to you. There's some other interesting things there. There's what they call vicarious learning, right? So we're learning through these people, through their opinions, right? Whether they like it or don't like it, we're still learning about the thing in a different way. There's something else about, there's the anticipation, right? You can hear by the change in the tone of voice that something big is going to come. This person's about to say something, right? The tone of voice changes. And so you start to pay more attention. There's more emotionality there. So you get more hooked by the information. There's other interesting data, when you are listening to someone or watching someone talk, there's this thing that happens that part of our brain activity becomes synchronized between the two people. Obviously, these aren't real people, so that's not going to happen here. But it's a really interesting thing, turning dry content into something amazing. So I've heard other things online where people have uploaded, their bank statements, and they've listened to a podcast about their bank statements, about their spending habits. I think this way of digesting information is going to be a game changer. It's going to change boring things in academia. It's going to change things like your insurance policy, whatever you want to listen to that you can't bear to get through, you can turn it into a fun podcast. So that's it for today. Try it out, throw something up there onto Google NotebookLM. Let me know what you think of it. Do you think this is silly, this is rubbish, this is amazing, this is a game changer? It's going to change the way you educate yourself. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how it's going. More next.
Almost had it.
More next. What the fuck does that mean? All right.
12 seconds later.
So that's Google's NotebookLM, right? Take a boring PDF, it's too long, you don't want to read it, turn it into an interesting podcast, an exciting conversation. Try it out at home, see what it can do. Let me know, I would love to hear your experiences, see what you think of it. So drop some comments below, and I will get back to you with some more news about the brain, the mind, and maybe even AI.